Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT news, and what a day at Masters yesterday. Paper Rex versus Fnatic certainly did not fail to deliver. Two of the top three teams at this event have already been confirmed. Great couple of series coming over the coming days, and those two teams are solidified to be playing in front of a crowd in a couple of days' time. At TenZ and Sentinels, they're officially off to the bootcamp. Maybe they're taking notes from Paper Rex in terms of how they might well play come the LCQ. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. And let's crack straight on with things. Firstly, wanted to mention this from Angel. It's not allowed to go out on stage with a flag at Masters, but I can remind all of you here on my Twitter that I am from Ukraine, a country where hundreds of civilian people die every day just because Russia wants to see us as their colony or destroy it. So quite the statement here from Angel, right? And he comes up with the flag. And we've seen this, right? Even yesterday I was watching ESL 1 Cologne and Bit comes out with the Ukrainian flag and everything like that. So a good show of support. Now, for some reason, Riot aren't allowing the players to come with any flags. Like, I think that sometimes players would have flags on their jerseys, right? But I'm pretty sure that's not allowed either. I guess Riot kind of wants to distance themselves from any kind of political stuff about that. If you've got, you know, players on this FBX team, the likes of ShahZaM I get to with the Russian flag, like maybe there's a bit of controversy there. But the idea that, you know, Angel isn't really allowed to come out with his Ukrainian flag on to show support for his, you know, home country, right, to people back home, I thought it's certainly an interesting decision, right? I'm not really sure if you guys care about this or whether you think that politics and all that type of stuff should be completely left out of it. But I do think players should be maybe allowed a bit more freedom to kind of, well, share their thoughts and stuff like this when they walk out for a big match and kind of give a little bit of personality in that sense. So I don't know what you guys think about this, but I think the tweet was nice regardless and definitely worthy of mentioning right now. Now, obviously, one of the big storylines of yesterday was the fact that if you're a controller right now at Masters, you've got to have your name starting with the name. I think people were saying that Boaster needs to change his name to Moster because, I mean, look, the likes of Marv, we've got Mindfreak as well. Some of these players are performing impeccably right now. And honestly, this matchup, we're just going to hop straight into it. Paper Rex versus Fnatic was absolutely superb. Jing, I'm pretty sure Jing officially, like, it confirmed that he tested positive. Like, these guys were, like, honestly not at full capacity, kind of under the weather, and still played a phenomenal map right here. I was surprised, honestly, that Fnatic went for bind against them just because I think I listened to an interview, I think it was with Lagia in like a Thorin's, is it called Daring Minds or something, podcast or whatever, and Lagia, the coach, I think, for Bleed Esports, was saying that they played up against Paper Rex a few months ago on binds, and after they played that map, he was like, I'm never playing this map ever again in my entire life, especially not against Paper Rex. They just schooled them so bad that they were like, please never play a bind against Paper Rex again in your life. Pretty sure they have lost it once, Paper Rex, to DRX back in Masters 1, but they're undefeated outside of that. Fnatic square up with them on it, and therefore they really needed to win this map number 1 here on the Ascent. And this is a ridiculous 1 versus 4 here. Like, Fnatic definitely misplayed this heavily. Mindfreak comes through, gets 1, gets 2. Boaster wasn't really shooting straight. This peak from Mystic was really costing them the round. And then, I mean, he just makes a phenomenal play to get the final kill Nento as well. Clutch out the 1 versus 4. That was looking like a dagger there, of course, for Paper Rex. They ended up winning this one 13-11. And like, honestly, this team is so much fun to watch. They play Valorant in such a different style than any other team. Fnatic are so disciplined and consistent and precise and patient, like, and also with incredible talent. But Paper Rex just do what they want, right? They play Valorant almost like how it's intended to be played, if you guys know what I mean. It's such a different style, but it feels like they just thrive so much in the chaos of the game. They can just do anything and make it work. Like, they do have some set plays and some good ideas, but often they won't do like a default. They'll just do something, and then it just seems to work. Like, they seem to just bet on themselves to come up clutch in the kind of in the chaos that they, well, seem to absolutely thrive in. And not only that, but they're kind of innovating the meta as well in certain senses. The way they're playing in these situations, like at what Forsaken is up to, for example, on the Yoru. We'll discuss that too in a second. And I thought one of the key storylines coming into this event was going to be who's going to take advantage of Fade the most. Like, at which organization, which team is going to use Fade, just like how Victor did, let's say, at Masters 1, where he used Neon, and like it really worked out for them. Look at this play from Jing as well, like with the race, just pops this blast pack, bounces around the corner and takes this guy down. This is honestly just Paper Rex and Jing in an absolute nutshell, right? But I mean, yeah, like that was kind of my question. Would Fade be a key difference maker this tournament? Turns out it might actually be Yoru that's the key difference maker, right? Because Forsaken brings him out once again here on the binds, and honestly, like, the plays that Forsaken was making were just absolutely phenomenal. Just watching this guy use his ultimate, fly through behind people, teleporting all over the shop, throwing out the flashes. Like, I mean, yeah, he was like, honestly, we've never really seen anyone so far since this update use Yoru in such a manner. Like, but he was being an absolute nightmare, right? We saw a couple of rounds. I think it was actually this next round that I've got ready to go. Well, firstly, Fnatic say this, how to delete Yoru, how to get rid of it, because, I mean, yeah, they were having a really hard time, and it's incredible that Forsaken just pulls this out and uses Yoru in a way that we've really never seen anyone use him before, and still walks away with the series victory. And this, I think, was the play here from Forsaken. So what ends up happening here, actually, you don't get to see the entire thing, but he uses his ultimate, goes all the way through B, gets all the information for it for free, then teleports into towards the A site, gets a kill, then teleports behind them, then gets a couple more kills. Fnatic were completely mind-blown about this one, and then the final kill goes down. Turko gets one, but that's not enough. Paper Rex take the advantage and end up closing out this entire series. I mean, it was a close one in the end. Fnatic fought very hard indeed, but the fact that Fnatic, a team of their caliber, come in here and get 2-0'd by Paper Rex is just incredible, right? The mesh of styles, the fact that Paper Rex versus EMEA teams are practically undefeated. Like, yeah, I'm sure they're going to be frustrated about this one, Fnatic, but still, it's an unbelievable storyline. Look at this, right? OpTic are 0-7 against EMEA teams as Envy and now OpTic. Paper Rex 6-0 against EMEA teams, so that's quite the storyline as well. And as kind of Steel says, it's the perfect duality of Valorant, like the best of both ends of the spectrum, the best of, both ways you can play the game. These two teams are the best of it. I kind of hope that we're going to get a rematch here at some point or another, but of course OpTic might have something to say about that in the upper side. And of course Fnatic have to make their own run in the losers bracket as well. But look at these stats as we close out the series here. Paper Rex take it 2-0 over Fnatic. Fnatic certainly the tournament favourites. Alpha Jet has a good series. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but people have told me to actually pronounce the J, so I'm going to go for that one for now, and you guys can correct me again if I'm wrong. But tough series and Mystic on the whole as well. That one play as well for the 1v4 in the Ascent, I'm sure is going to be haunting him. But yeah, Mind Freak for Sake and Jing. Like, I mean, these guys so entertaining to watch. Now, as Hayes says, though, he believes that Marved is the best controller in the world. Always high impact, rarely makes mistakes, doesn't choke, and that's pretty much what we saw in this OpTic series. I was very surprised early on here. I was watching DRX just destroy OpTic on Fracture. Not a map where OpTic get destroyed often, and they went up, what, 8-0 here, like 9-0 or something. They had a crazy start to this game here, DRX. OpTic win a few rounds, but it's not going to matter. DRX dominate game 1 Fracture, and then OpTic start on the attacking side over at Breeze, and it's like, wow, damn, this is a tough scene to OpTic, right? They're starting attack side on Breeze, and they've got to face DRX already down 1-0. But OpTic just don't care, right? Despite the fact that DRX's defense has been so good on this map, OpTic just start out and they don't care anyway. They go up like, what, 7-8-0 on this one, so they do it right back to them. And OpTic at this point, they just played like pretty much perfect Valorant this game too. They win the defensive side, no issues at all. And just the composure from OpTic I thought was so impressive, right? Going down the way they did game 1, they could have very easily thought, okay, wow, like we're just getting smoked by these guys. But they turn up game 2 and deliver the goods again. Ye was making plays like at this entire series. His first kill to first death rate actually in this series was ridiculous. We'll see the numbers here in a second, but he was involved in so many first kill engagements and he won effectively all of them, especially in the crucial games. I think he was practically undefeated in first kills in the last couple of maps of the series. Victor pops a ridiculous ace actually here on Binds, and finally after 2 maps that were blowouts, we have a cracker of a game 3 here on the Bind to close out the series. OpTic DRX. The DRX boys definitely showed up, but OpTic just showed that they're slightly too good when the clutch is on. And then yeah, 13-11 in the end. Marved was letting them know across the stage as well, giving them their thoughts, because I mean, yeah, like there was some trash talk actually going down during the series between the two guys, which we generally do love to see. And like DRX still a great team, but they're going to drop down to losers in a relatively tough situation, because this happened before. They play OpTic, they lose a bit of a heartbreaker, they drop down to losers and go out to the tournament. Like if DRX want to win this, they've got to make a little bit more of a run here and beat teams that they've lost to in the past. But OpTic just looking so strong, confirming themselves top 3 at this tournament, as FNS says the demon is back for all those who doubted him at Ye. So like yeah, OpTic Yaming was back in full force yesterday. After a difficult first series of the tourney, he turned up massively. Like yeah, the chamber diff was there for real. And OpTic, of course, after coming top 1 at Masters 1, they're now officially confirmed to be top 3 at minimum here at Masters 2. Can they retain their crown? It's going to be tough. Hopefully, if they do manage to do it, we're going to get a different grand final against maybe a Paper Rex, maybe a Fnatic, right? Who knows what happens in the losers bracket. There are still other teams though alive in the tournament, and as Ye says, games are not easy, and they play it next with a crowd, right? So the next matchups they'll play, I believe from top 4 in a few days' time, is going to be in front of a crowd. So about time. It's great to see, and these are the overall stats, right? Of course, loads of things to mention here, Ye especially, but look at this first blood rate. Marved in fairness also 5-0 in his first blood engagement, but Ye was 20 first kills, 5 at first deaths. Like if you tally up the entire number of first kills that were actually achieved on DRX, what is this, 12, 17, 21? So Ye almost had as many first kills as the entire DRX team combined over 3 maps. Like, I mean, that is just such a ridiculous number. It's hard to even comprehend, to be honest. But yeah, Marved and Ye, when they turn up, the series is usually going to be okay as long as there's some decent moments in there from Victor as well, as of course there was. Talking of Paper Rex though, and the run that they've made, wanted to mention what TenZ had to say on this team actually, because he was talking about the fact that he really rates this Paper Rex team and thinks they're probably the most exciting team to watch in the entire game. Certainly one of his favourite teams to watch. And now they're flying out to the bootcamp, right, as TenZ says, leaving for the bootcamp before LCQ today. There's, I'm pretty sure the LCQ they believe, I think Shroud said it starts on August the 4th. Not exactly sure of the precise date, but it's a couple of weeks away. They're going to have a bootcamp for a couple of weeks before the LCQ. TenZ at Sentinels, they're out there getting ready to go. But he does say here that like he really rates Paper Rex as an organisation and as a team and as the way they play the game. game, and maybe they're doing a bit of studying Sentinels on what Paper Rex are doing to innovate the meta in order to give themselves a great chance come the LCQ.
Also on Paper Rex, they're insane. I would say, in terms of teams that I like to watch, I think Paper Rex actually has to be like one of my favorites.
I'm on a knife.
They play like we don't give a style, which is really fun, you know. Especially when it's working, like it's really like every player on the team go kill.
Nice.
So I do think Sentinels would be wise to do something like this, right? Because Sentinels as an organization and as a team have generally been behind the meta, right? Lately, the fact that they got into Chamber a little bit too late, don't really have a clear-cut Chamber player. They have generally fallen behind the meta, right? The fact that like no one was really using Jett anymore, but yet TenZ was still on their Jett a lot of the time. So it feels like they're relatively slow to adapt. If they want to win the LCQ, they're going to have to turn that around. They're going to need to be a team that's innovating with FaZe, innovating with Yoru, right? Potentially, because TenZ has talked about Yoru wanting to use him, and I'm sure he was watching Forsaken, I think, and damn, maybe I can do something exactly like this, right? So it's an interesting situation, right? But if TenZ is right in the fact that he really likes watching Paper Rex, then maybe the team are going to study them very heavily and bring some of their ideas through to the LCQ, because probably wouldn't be a bad idea based on the way Paper Rex are playing, but they just seem to have the individuals that can actually make that style work, and maybe teams that don't have those type of individuals can't make a style like that actually work, but maybe there's a few ideas they can take there to try and have success at the LCQ. These are the top performers of the day, 3-0 on Paper Rex, no surprise there, Mindfreak, Jing and Forsaken. Ratings through the roof, but some usual suspects as well, as you might expect. And this then is the championship bracket. We have got down to the final 6 teams of the tournament. Paper Rex and OpTic, one of those teams will be in the grand finals. Both of these teams confirmed at top 3. Today, the final 2 matches before the crowd comes through on the July the 22nd. DRX, FPX. I don't know how they call this one. DRX, honestly, I feel like they might lose a heartbreaker here, but I do want to see them make the run. Then Fnatic, Leviathan. I feel like Fnatic should be too good for Leviathan. I'm hoping Fnatic make the run at least back to the lower finals. Still kind of hoping for the OpTic versus Fnatic final, but I'd love to see anyone versus Paper Rex because they're just so good to watch. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new as always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.